In this lecture, we are going to look at the admin section of Google Tag Manager. As you can see on your screen, the admin panel is divided into two sections. One is for your account management and the other one is for container management. I'm going to go through both these panels so that you can get a good idea of how to administer Google Tag Manager. So let's focus on the account panel. You'll see a plus sign here, which allows you to create a new account, and you'll see an option to create an account. I'm not going to go through this as we've already done account creation. Then there is account settings, which allows you to see information about the current account you're in. You can see account ID, account name, if you want to change it, and the options that you have, whether you want to share the data or you want two-step login verification. Cancel it. Next is your account activity. Click on it. It shows you what kind of activity a user has done. And then there is user management, which allows you to add new users to your system. So go ahead and click. There is only one user currently, but you can create new users by clicking on new. You have to enter an email address of the person, give them the access, which is either they are user or admin. Admin means they can perform all the functions that you are performing, which is to create everything, create more users, etc. And then you can give container specific permissions. So we only have one container, but if you had more containers, you'll see all those containers listed here, and you can choose what access you want to give to that user for which container. Your options are no access, which means if you have 3-4 containers and you only want to give them access to one container, you'll give no access for other containers. Read means they can read everything that's going on. They can look at the workspace. They can look at all these versions, but they can't make any changes. Edit means they can make changes, but they can't approve or publish them. Approve means they have the permission to approve the changes, but not to publish. And publish really means is you are pushing it live. So that's the ultimate permission you can give. Admin has all these permissions. Now let's look at the container panel. As you can see, it's container. You can create new container. Similarly, what we did previously by clicking on a plus sign, you go in, you put the container name, choose the option, and then click create. You can also see container ID or container number next to your container. Then you have container settings. This is the current container settings. It allows you to change the name of the container. Once you make a change, the save button is highlighted. It also shows you information on where this container is used. If you remember, we chose web. And what's the default workspace name? We called it default workspace. If you do have to delete a container, you can just hit delete here. I'm going to go ahead and cancel because I don't want to change the name, and we're back. You have user management, which is same as user management here. Install Google Tag Manager gives you those JavaScripts that you need to put on your web pages. Then you have import container. Import container allows you to import container information that's contained in a JSON file. So if you are moving container information from one container to another, you can create an export file using export container, then use that file to import container information in another container. So let's take a look at first export container to show you what that file looks like. Click on export container, and then it says choose a version or workspace. You can export from workspace or any of the versions that you have. So let's go ahead and click default workspace. And you can see this container information comes in. It contains all the information about that container, what account ID, container ID, etc. Once that's done, you can click on export and you'll see a JSON file gets created. Let's open that file to show you what it looks like. And here is what that file looks like. Once you have that file can be imported in another container if that's what you want to do. Go ahead and back, and you can use import container, choose a container file. We can use the one we just created. This is the JSON file. Go ahead and pick it up. And now it's ready to be created. You can either choose to create in a new workspace or an existing workspace. An import function is overwrite selected workspace or merge. Merge means it'll try to bring those content together. Overwrite is just simply overwrite. Let's just create a new workspace and give it a description called imported. Give the workspace a name. Let's call the workspace imported and the description imported. Go ahead and save it. And after you do that, it will show you all the tags, triggers, and variables that are part of that workspace. And we'll talk about these tags, triggers, and variables in future lectures. Once you are satisfied with everything, you go ahead and confirm it, and you can see now you have imported workspace. So you got two workspaces now, default and imported. Let's go back to admin. Here's an option to tie external account links. Some tags can be integrated into Google Tag Manager by using a link rather than implementing them in the Google Tag Manager. Examples are DoubleClick Floodlight Counter or DoubleClick Floodlight Sales tag. You can simply go into DoubleClick Campaign Manager and send a request to Google Tag Manager. Once that request is sent, you will be able to see those requests coming into your Google Tag Manager's external link request. This is where you can approve that request or delete it. If you approve it, all those tags will be integrated with Google Tag Manager and you can manage them in Google Tag Manager interface. Going back, next one is approval queue. An approval queue is also tied to the external link account above. So you will be able to see all the requests coming in and approve them. And then environments. In large organizations, you have multiple servers. It could be development servers, staging servers, UAT server, and then live servers. So you can define all those environments here and then push your tags or publish your tags to specific environments. So let's say if you want to test it on a staging server, which is before you go live, you can publish your tags to staging server. And then once you're satisfied, you'll publish it to live servers or the live environment. So you can define all your environments in this interface and they'll start to appear in your publish interface. So you can choose the environment you want to publish your tags into. Go back. So this is all in the admin interface.